Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube live training. Now, this is something that I'm really excited about because I've been getting so much requests from you guys to really show you how to get over a weight loss plateau. Hold on, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna finish eating this before my fast. Okay, hold on. I want to just honor you guys for tuning in on a Wednesday night. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna make sure I deliver for you guys. Hold on. I am like my camera's flipped, so I will be stopping and seeing comments. But yes, I want to welcome you all here today because we're gonna talk about the weight loss plateau. Because I'm getting so many women reaching out to me saying, Zara, what do I do? I lost my first 20 pounds, but I still have like 10 more pounds to go. Or, I lost my first 5 pounds. It was so easy. Now I have more weight to go. How the heck do I get over a plateau? Okay. And this happens to a lot of women. Okay. This happened to me way back when I started my journey. I would lose weight and then I would hit a plateau. Okay, it's almost like a ceiling cap. And there's three main reasons why this happens. So we're going to talk about those three main reasons today. And the last one is something that you didn't expect. So make sure you tune in to the end. The last one is more of a psychological thing happening. It's more of like a nervous system. So we're going to talk about how to reboot the nervous system towards the end. But the first two are things that you can actually control. So let's talk about weight loss. Plateau. Let's do it. Don't forget to get your pens and notepads ready to go because you guys know, take notes, take notes, take notes. Okay, weight loss plateau. If this ever happened to you, if you're live, if you're watching this live, drop a 1 in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat, or drop this is me. If you experience plateaus, comment this is me. Because I like this saying that one of my teachers said to me. She said, what happens in one area of life can bleed into other areas of life. So if you're noticing a plateau on your weight, you may be noticing a plateau maybe when it comes to like income as well. You may be noticing a plateau when it comes to like your personal development. So that's a really big thing as well. So if you're here, put a 1 chat. Thank you guys for the likes. I am checking the comments as well. Okay. So let's talk about the plateau. Make sure you guys have things to take notes. The number one reason why people hit a plateau is number one. I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to explain more about what I mean. First things first, calorie deficit. Did you even see that? Yes. A calorie deficit. Okay, you may have seen my older videos where I said, okay, you have to get a certain amount of calories. Information is always improving upon itself. Now, what is wrong with a calorie deficit? There's two things wrong with a calorie deficit. Number one is that with your body, you're shocking your body. Now, you're shocking your hunger hormones. And when you are on a calorie deficit and you're restricting yourself, you're also holding and switching your hormones. When you're on a calorie deficit for a period of time, let's say you started your journey 2 weeks, you're eating 1,500 calories, and then you continue eating that. Used to the calorie new normal. So let's say you're used to eating 1,500 calories and you're doing that for, let's say, a month. Yeah, your body's going to be used to that 1,500 calories and it's going to know how to convert that energy effectively. Right? So that's number one reason why people hit plateaus. Because they're too focused on the damn number. Okay, they're too focused on how many calories do I need for my body, or should I do this? Like, how can I measure this? Like, how much calories? Stop it right now. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Calorie deficit does not freaking matter. This is gonna be a hard truth for a lot of people. Stop the calorie deficit, okay? Stop the calorie deficit. And a lot of people do calorie deficit because they're eating a standard American diet still. Now, if you're still eating the standard American diet, okay, you're still eating McDonald's, but you're eating the burger in half, or you're still eating KFC, but you're getting a kid's meal, so it's less calories, cut BS. Cut the BS. You're eating pasta, wheat pasta, gluten pasta, that affects your gut. It's going to also adrenal glands, which is really important when it comes to weight loss. If you're doing all of that and you're hoping and praying to lose weight and keep it off effectively, if you're still eating the foods that you know is going to affect your body, especially your gut, and how you convert your food into energy, pause, full pause, needs to stop. This is a big mistake for a lot of people. This is how they get caught up. Calorie deficit, really, guys, calorie deficit is what's causing this unhealthy relationship with your food. Food is not meant to, and I'm going to say this because people don't understand. Food is not meant to be enjoyed. What is the purpose of food? Food is meant to fuel the body. Food is for nutrients. Food is for energy. If you do not see your food for energy or nutrients, then you have a disordered way of thinking about your food. Period. And I got energy today, y'all. Y'all, this one, okay? This is gonna be this is your cup of tea. This is your life. I'm talking to someone right now. Okay? That's the problem. People think, okay, when you switch your diet, now you're eating more whole foods, foods to actually fuel your hormones and adrenals. They think that's disordered eating. No, the real disorder of eating is thinking that food must taste good. Thinking your food must be to satisfy an emotion. No, food is for, remember, energy and nutrients. That is why a lot lose weight, but they still have health issues. And then down the line, they develop other underlying health issues that's causing them to, over time, end up in the hospital, critical condition, and then it's just a whole nightmare. You need to, the calorie deficit, like, we need to stop with that. Okay, actually eating whole foods, right? You're limiting foods that affect your gut, which is the yeast-forming foods, the candida-forming foods, and I'll write down foods to avoid. You will naturally be in a calorie deficit. You will naturally be eating food for energy and fuel, actually be able to convert food into energy and burn that for energy. Guys, this is the biggest calorie deficit. So instead of doing a calorie deficit so you can get out of this plateau, what you need to do is eat in a circadian rhythm. This is so important. I tell all my clients to do this. I never tell not one of my clients to count calories. And they shed weight like this. You guys see the testimonials on my Instagram. You guys can even go to my TikTok. Every single client I have, in their first week, they're dropping pounds. Even after their first week, their first month, they're dropping, and it's consecutively. It's consistent. Because we're eating in a circadian rhythm. That's the first thing that you need to do. Okay? Write this down. And I'll preach about this because it works for every single person, man or woman. Okay? If you're not doing this, make sure to add it into your routine. Shoot. The back of my head is going crazy. Okay? The number one reason why people plateau is because their hormones are messed up. If you want to rebalance your hormones, if you want to lower cortisol, if you want to make sure that your leptin, your ghrelin is balanced, you want to make sure that your hunger hormone, so like when you experience that, that grrr feeling in your stomach, that sensation, if you want to regulate that so you feel full longer, if you want to activate your GLP-1 without using Ozempic, because that's going to cause health issues down the line, okay, it's going to cause a bunch of stomach issues, so if you're willing to keep on staying on medication and paying for that for the rest of your life, then you do that. You want to activate the right hormones so that you can lose weight effectively and not hit a plateau, then you need to be eating in a circadian rhythm. What this is, eating with the sun, right? There is not one hormone system in your body that cannot function without the sun, right? An example of this is what happens when the sun goes down. When the sun goes down, you produce melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, right? And that shows the body, that signals to the body to decrease in energy so you can sleep, right? And a lot of people have messed up sleeping because they're eating at the wrong times. I always say this, you don't have a slow metabolism. That is why it's so important to not eat when it's dark outside, right? So as soon as the sun sets, and it's going to be different for different seasons, but typically 12 to 6 is like your safe spot. So right now it's 7:30 or it's almost 8 o'clock. It's dark outside. You should not be eating. Also, I shouldn't even be on these lights right now. I really and truly should not be with green lights because that's also affecting my sleep. So if you're someone who has insomnia or has a hard time falling asleep, it's mostly artificial light that you're not getting enough sun. But that's a different story. That's something to look into. Okay? It takes energy to make energy. Now, remember this. Think of eating like an investment. So for my people who are geeks and nerdy with energy and also like money as well, think of eating like an investment. I think this will land for a lot of people, right? Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Would you invest your money in something if you know the ROI is low? Would you invest your money in something knowing that you will not get a return? Majority of us said no. Now, why do we do this with our food? A lot of us, because it takes energy to break down food, right? Because when we eat these processed foods that yield no energy, two things happen. We crave more food, which means more calories, because remember, our body is not hungry just to eat. Our body's hungry for energy and nutrients. So a telltale sign that you're lacking nutrients is if you're always hungry. Okay, a telltale sign that you're dealing with chronic fatigue, always hungry, because you're craving food so you can get energy, right? But it also takes energy from your body, from your metabolism to break it down. So a lot of people make the mistake where they're just eating a bunch of processed food that yield no nutrients, because processed food is food that's already went through its own metabolic process. Now, if this is landing for you, type 1 in the chat. Now, if you're watching the playback, then comment 1. Okay, I want to know if this is landing, because this is really important. Okay, it's really, really important. You do not want to eat heavy dinners. Okay, your last meal should be fairly light, because, right, your last meal is going to be at, like, as the sun goes down, so does your energy. And if it takes energy to make energy, which means if you want to convert your food into energy so you're not storing it, you need to be eating the right portions of food. So from 12 to 3, when the highest in the sky, during lunchtime when you actually have energy, right? Because no one with having all this energy, right? Energy is slowly built throughout the day, then it decreases with the sun. So always eat your heaviest meals and your first meal from 12 to 3, okay, in that window. And then from 4 to 6, you want to have a smaller portion of your food, right? So as the sun goes down, so should your portion. So remember that. That's really going to help. And this is going to help with your hormone balance, because the number one reason why people hit plateau is hormones. So that's number 1, eating in a circadian rhythm. Now, the second thing that's really important with balancing hormones so that you can overcome the plateau is your bitters. This is nature's GLP-1. This is actually the key. If you're not adding bitters to your weight loss plan, you need to add it right now, okay? Over the Ozempic, okay? This one lady reached out to me, and she was saying that, like, now her kidneys not functioning, so she has to go and get that fixed, or get that taken care of. So she has to do testings for that. And she was on Ozempic, so to each its own. I'm trying to help y'all, because I love y'all, okay? So cut me some slack. GLP-1. Now this hormone, really, really important for regulating blood sugar levels and insulin. And it's also great for lowering your AIC levels. So if you are pre-diabetic or you have type 1, even type 2, you need to get on your bitters. Nobody is doing this, right? Who here is going to commit to doing their bitters, right? Because I love to help you guys, but I notice some of you guys don't get the bitters. This will help you with cravings. If you are craving, because starchy foods, you do tend to crave it because, it feeds the bad gut bacteria, right? And bacteria is very, very smart. Bacteria is just like you and me. It wants to survive. It needs a host, right? Your body, and it needs food. So the more you feed the bad bacteria, the more you crave the starchy foods, the wheats, the gluten, the rice, the white breads. All of those foods cause yeast overgrowth in the blood. It causes yeast infection. It causes all of these issues to your gut. And it's addictive because bacteria is feeding off of it. So if you want to heal that and also lose weight and not hit a plateau, bitters. As soon as bitters touch the tongue, it signals to the pancreas to lower insulin and blood sugar levels, and it also kickstarts a detoxification in the gut and removes bad gut bacteria. Okay? So what bitters should you be taking now? I'm going to give you a list of bitters from the least bitter to the most powerful. Okay, so list number 1. Cloves. And also, guys, anything that's bitter to the tongue for you would work based on your levels, right? Because everyone has different levels of bitterness. But I will say the one that works for everyone is wormwood. But you have to be able to be at a space to actually have wormwood. Like, I wouldn't suggest wormwood for just anyone. You have to open up your detox pathways for wormwood because it is an intense parasite cleanse. So if different pathways are not open, you can do more harm than good. So be careful with wormwood, is what I would say. Okay, and I also have a guide to open up your detox pathways. I think it's in the description, so you can check it out. But cloves. Okay, watercress. Oops. Arugula. Parsley. I hope. Yeah, root cloves, watercress, arugula, parsley, bitter melon. Okay, bitter melon, moringa seeds. Okay, ginger root, oil of oregano, onions, very, very good. Onions, red onions, the onion family is amazing. And then lastly, if you want something more potent, you want to do either cerci or wormwood. Cerci, I think it's wormwood. And I'll throw in a bonus, neem. Neem. Neem is really, really good. It's a big, big washout, guys. Neem. These are the 3 top levels. Now, you don't want to hit this level if you can't handle the level, if you can't handle the other bitters. Okay? If you cannot handle the other bitters, then don't step into this range, okay? I don't want anything going bad not on my watch, okay? Tell Zara that I warned, not tell Zara, but let Zara tell you to warn you, okay? These are the big guys. So if you know how to handle these, you're good. But make sure your other detox pathways are open. Make sure your skin pathway is open. Make sure your blood is, you're actively cleansing your blood. Make sure your liver is online, your kidneys are online. And for some of you guys, your liver, kidney are not online. I'm gonna just be honest. For some of you guys, your brain, the lymphatic system might not be online. For some of you guys, you're not working out, so your lymphatic system is not online. So we need to make sure these are online before you take these big things, because I don't want purging to come out from the face, right? A lot of times purging comes to the face, it can come through the scalp, it can affect the liver, kidney, so make sure they're online before taking these big guys. But bitters are really important, so this is the list. Okay, that's going to help with your hormones and GLP-1. You want to make sure GLP-1 is active. A lot of people see, this is why calorie deficit does not work long term and your weight will fluctuate. Because until you activate GLP-1 where you feel full longer and you're able to effectively burn energy, that's going to create a sustainable weight loss. Okay, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to read the comments. Let me know where you guys are at so far. Hey guys, I'm gonna read the comments in a sec, just taking a couple of breaks. So how are we so far, guys? How are we so far? Okay. Okay. Now, step number 3 is balancing. Step number balancing hormones. Oops. Is diet. Okay, this is a page if you want to heal. Now, if you don't mind, going to the doctors, being on medication for the rest of your life, because that's essentially what it is. Because as soon as you get off medication, more issues start to arise. So if you want to be on medication for the rest of your life, if you want to rely on supplements for the rest of your life, then don't follow this step. This step is so powerful. You guys don't understand. Everything starts in the gut. Your immune system starts in the gut, right? And it all starts from this one thing that nobody talks about, and it's stomach acid. Now, if you have low stomach acid, right, you will not absorb any nutrients from your diet. Just cut that out, right? Like, you might as well just, not eat anything, right, hypothetically. But, yes, if you have, I feel like there's a spider. I don't know, I feel a little, itchy. Anyways, diet, stomach acid. If you have low stomach acid, can you guys view me good? Yeah, if you have low stomach, it's going to affect this. A lot of people think, oh, I'm mineral deficient, or oh, I need to supplement this, that, and the third. But the real issue is stomach acid, because this is how your body absorbs nutrients. So if you have low stomach acid, number 1, your body's unable to absorb and break down nutrients. Number 2, your body's unable to break down pathogens, toxins, and bacteria from your food, right? Because let's be honest, all of our food has some form of bacteria in there. And if you have low stomach acid, you'll notice that that's also going to link to your immune system. So you catch viruses very easily, right? You develop viruses very easily. Someone with low stomach acid is more susceptible to H. pylori, HIV, HSV, skin outbursts. Really, they get sick easily because their stomach is not hot enough to break down these toxins, right? A normal, healthy immune system, they would have a regular or normal amount of stomach acid. So they are able to break down certain pathogens and fight it off. So that's the key. And the biggest scam is taking any form of PPI medication, because as soon as you get off of it, now your body has to learn how to produce more stomach acid or even lower stomach acid. And it's like learning how to walk again after, let's say you had an accident, you have to learn how to walk again. So it's a big process. So do not take PPI pills for stomach acid. First thing you want to do is fix diet. Yes, you can fix stomach acid through diet. First things first, you want to take a stomach acid test. The best way to do it is get a glass of water, right? Get an 8-ounce glass, warm spring water. Put 2 to 3 tablespoons of baking soda, mix well, drink that up. Now, if you have a normal amount of stomach acid, you should be burping within 2 to 3 minutes. But if you do not burp at all, that means that you have low stomach acid. So we need to fix that. So lock in. Okay, guys? First things first with diet. Number 1, we want to remove, this is like the big no-nos. Processed food. This is your big no-no. Like, remove this immediately. So, wheat. Wheat is a big gut irritant, right? It irritates the gut lining, it messes with the acidity levels of the stomach, and it also promotes yeast and candida and even mold to grow in the gut. So wheat is a big no-no. Same with gluten. Okay, processed food, no nutrients, right? You're just pretty much eating, like, let's say you're eating air, because there's no nutrients, it's just a bunch of calories and energy. It drains your body to break it down, and you're not getting nutrients. So that's not a good investment, right? And the rule of thumb is to eat more whole foods, right? You want to eat foods that has not been in more of 2 or 3 processes. You don't want to eat food that's been in more than 2 or 3, right? So let's say, example, people always ask, okay, is fruit or is a smoothie, is that processed food? It is processed, right? But it's only been through one process, which is just blending it. So you can still eat juices and smoothies because it's not overly ultra processed. If it's been through 2 or more processes, I wouldn't touch it, right? So a potato chip or some type of crackers, things of that sort, then we don't want to touch it, right? Even French fries, we don't want to touch that too processed. So we got that. Dairy, same thing with dairy with the wheat, right? Especially if you are someone that has not been breastfed, right? So if your mom gave you, let's say, formula, you are more susceptible to having lactose intolerance if you were not breastfed, right? Because you have not developed the gut microbiome to break down the natural sugars in milk. That's why it's so important. If you're not sure, you should ask your mother, right? Or try, yeah. But if you are lactose intolerant, most likely you have not been breastfed. Right? Right. So we notice a lot of babies, a lot of studies that we do, is that babies that have been breastfed, they can handle dairy. But here's the thing with dairy. The dairy that you're now is not the dairy that your ancestors have been eating, right? Especially if you're getting it from the grocery store. If you don't live on the farm, or if you're not buying from local farms, then don't the dairy. Okay? Because there's so much preservatives, so much crap in there, so much carcinogens, all that pus, that inflammation. We don't want that, right? Dairy, store-bought dairy and meat is one of the biggest cancer-led industries because how many toxins are pumped in there. Okay, especially meat is pumped with so many artificial red dyes in it just to make it look fresh again, right? Because I'm gonna paint this perspective so you guys can really understand, right? When you go home and let's say you have meat in the fridge for a week, 2 weeks. Let's just say you left meat out for 2 weeks. Would you answer this? Would you would you want to eat that if you left it out for 2 weeks? Chances are no, because it would start to rot, it would start to smell, and it would go bad. We do the same thing with the meat in the grocery store, right? It's been left out, it's been out there for, let's say, weeks on the shelf, and we still eat the meat. You're wondering, okay, how is it's still fresh though? Because it's pumped with a bunch of chemicals that are messing with our hormones. This is actually the leading cause why women have so much hormonal imbalance, PCOS. The meat industry is what's causing the cysts to grow, right? Because when you break apart these cysts, you find these estrogens, you find dead blood cells, you find all this gunk. And a lot of it comes from these foods that I just crossed off the list. So that's the number one thing you want to do, cross off those foods. Okay, so if you want to boost stomach acid, here's what you want to eat. Okay, here's what's going to help you. So if you want to boost stomach acid, I'm going to start eating. This is really good for stomach acid. Leeks, onion, dandelion, greens, or minted food. Okay, so this is really good for boosting stomach acid. Doesn't matter if you have stomach ulcers or not. This works for you. SIBO, IBS works for you, right? And it won't irritate your gut. Now, if you don't have any of the things I listed, then a great way to boost your stomach acid is adding a couple of juices or squeezes of lemon to your meal. So you can squeeze about 3 to 5 squeezes of lemon into every single meal. Same with apple vinegar, you can add a couple of drops of that into your meal. That will naturally boost stomach acid, so you actually absorb 75% more nutrients from your food. Okay? But what you can add into every single meal if you have low stomach acid is leeks. You can chop up some leeks, add that to your meals, Onions, the onion family is amazing for stomach acid. It helps boost that up. Dandelion greens. I love dandelion greens. I'm juicing with them. It's very nice and juice. Like my favorite juice that's really good for stomach acid would be about 3 to 4 green apples, a handful of dandelion greens, ginger, a couple sticks of celery, parsley, kale, and a little bit sprinkle of cayenne on the top. Very, very powerful for stomach acid. Very, very powerful for a natural clean out. It helps reboot on a cellular level. It helps get a cellular waste from the blood. Very, very powerful. That's fermented food promote good gut bacteria. The good bacteria so to fight bad when bad bacteria does enter the body, possibly, right? You want to make sure that we build up your immune system. Fermented food is what builds the immune system. So sauerkraut is amazing. Pickles, pickled onions, radish, turnips. So much. You can ferment your food. You can pickle your food in your vegetables, however you choose. Now, one thing I will say is that you want to make sure that your fermented food is coming from the fridge aisle. You never want to buy it from the dry aisle. Same thing is because fermented food must be in the fridge at all times. So if you're buying it from the dry aisle or like the snack aisle, process now because the preservatives you buy it from the fridge. Or stomach acid. Another thing I want to mention too that I didn't mention, the reason why that you are on the plateau that you are on is because some of your food is not as nutritious, right? So you're overeating or you're just eating food that has high calories and you're not able to convert and burn them. So make sure that you're eating foods that have nutrients, right? Easy way to do that, up your fruits and veggies, up your raw fruits and veggies, okay? Now, the one thing that nobody talks about, and I love this topic, the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands is in control of everything. Every single thing. Right? I don't think people grasp how the adrenals is the key. Someone asked me, what is the most important gland or just system in the body that is responsible for healing? People say the liver. Yeah, the liver is important, but the liver is a really recoverable organ. One thing that you need to get in check is adrenals, right? Because this causes so much. And a lot of people confuse the adrenal glands for different illnesses. A lot of people are getting misdiagnosed when really it's adrenal glands. Chronic fatigue, adrenal glands. Poor metabolism, adrenal glands. You cannot convert your food into energy, adrenal glands. You're hitting a plateau in your weight loss, adrenal glands. You get up and you see stars. People think it's iron deficiency. No, but that's coming from the adrenal glands. You're developing a little bit of thyroid issues. Okay, you have to deal with the adrenals first. You have anxiety, right? Or you're unable to be calm in your body. You're frantic, adrenal glands. You're stressed, adrenal glands. You feel shaky. You feel agitated, adrenal glands. You can't sleep, adrenal glands. You hold on to a bunch of water, or you're having poor kidneys, adrenal glands. Adrenal glands. And this is a big thing that nobody talks about in this space a lot. They think, oh, just focus on liver, kidney. Okay, but your kidney can only work as far as your adrenal glands. So let's talk about the adrenals. A couple of ways you can bring your adrenals back online is with this technique. Adrenal gland, I like to think of the adrenal gland like the feminine part of your body, right? It's like the powerhouse. Think of I like this analogy. Think of like the queen in chess, right? The queen can move across the board. The queen protects the king. The queen, like if you kill the queen, it's like, dang, kill the queen, right? That's how I see the adrenal gland. Just so you guys can grasp that. And with the adrenal gland, you want to make sure that it's always online. You don't want to have a fatigue adrenal gland. So first things first with the adrenal gland, diet. That's why I walked you through circadian rhythm, because that helps as well. That's why I walked you through the bitters, because that will help. That's why I walked you through the diet, because that will help. Now, with the adrenals, what you do want to do is, this is something that's not really spoken about, but breath work. Breath work is one of the most effective ways, and like you can delegate. Yeah, you can delegate a lot of time. You don't have to delegate a lot of time. My favorite tech is called box breathing. Right? And I'm gonna show you guys. I want to just see where we're at. If we're good. Are we good? Okay, we're good. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to answer questions at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But thank you guys so much. Okay, so the adrenal glands. One of the ways that you can heal this is through box breathing, right? You can practice this every single day to help bring the adrenals back online. Now, not only does it bring the adrenals back online, but also more calm in the body and the nervous system regulation. And that's the last thing I want to talk briefly, right? So box breathing looks something like this. Now, you can start with a count of 5. I like to start here, but as you get better and better at this, you can go up on this. So you can go up to like hold your breath for like 20 seconds. Some people hold their breath for a minute. That's different. Yes. So you want to breathe in for 5, hold that breath for 5, then release for 5. So it looks something like this. And then you repeat. Breath work, and I feel the calmness. Breath work is so important because the moment you breathe, not only are you breathing in oxygen, right, and getting rid of that CO2, which is metabolic waste, which is like a detox. Breathing is a detox, right? That's the first initial way the body detoxes. Breathing. Your breath is your life. Your breath is your consciousness. Your breath is so powerful, right? The moment you do your breath work, you're actually releasing cortisol and adrenaline levels, and you're boosting your oxytocin, your feel-good hormones, right? That's all the adrenals. The adrenals do that. So the moment you start to breathe, the adrenals are like, hey, I'm online. Shoo, you called me? Yeah, I called you. Can you lower my cortisol and adrenaline and boost my serotonin, my oxytocin? Dopamine, perhaps? That's what breath work does. So it helps bring on the adrenals naturally. Now, one thing that you can do with the adrenal glands to really target that is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is really, really good for the adrenals. Now, you want to be careful with ashwagandha. I'll give you 2 alternatives. So you can do ashwagandha or you can do holy basil. Now, if you have hypertension, then you want to go with the holy basil. If I spelled it right, you guys know ashwagandha. And then 2 holy basil. Now you can have this as a tea or have it in your smoothie. So like ashwagandha in a powder, you can have it as a tea or you can sprinkle it. Very powerful. Now, and then another one too is berries are really good for the adrenals. Tomato berries, chase berries, blueberries, strawberries, mulberries, cherries. You know, berries are like my favorite because they're so powerful. Whew. If you want to heal the nervous system, berries. If you want to grow long hair, skin, and nails, berries. If you want to clear your skin, you want to reverse gray hair, berries. Okay. If you guys seen the video where I posted my mom, she is a 56-year-old former bodybuilder, and we posted her journey. And for her to reverse her grays, we put her on all berries. So she was on salpromato, she was on chase berry, she was even having like 2 handfuls of berries a day. Like I always tell every single client, 2 handfuls of berries, 2 hands full of berries, please. Okay, if you want to look graceful and young. That's why we look young. Okay, berries. And also, like, I'm just full of life, right? Now, here's another thing that you can do for the adrenals. There's a frequency that I listen to on YouTube, but you can Google adrenal reboot frequency, and you can listen to it as you sleep. So you can play the ones that have like a black screen, so it doesn't affect your circadian rhythm. So you can play adrenal boosting frequencies on YouTube, and then put black screen so it doesn't affect your circadian rhythm, so you can sleep with it. So adrenal boosting frequency. Yeah, sure. Adrenal boosting frequency, very, very powerful. You listen to that at night, and that's going to help boost your adrenals. Okay, now last to mention when it comes to hitting a plateau. So, you have something called a nervous system. And your nervous system doesn't just work for like health-wise, right? It's not just about, oh, my health, my nervous system. Think of your nervous system like the feminine part of your body, right? It keeps you safe. When your nervous system is not regulated, right? Your body may feel that you are not safe. So let's say you start, I'm gonna explain this like this, right? Let's say person A has a regulated nervous system, right? They feel safe in their body. They're not living in survival mode. They're fully regulated. They're fully in their body, and they say, okay, I want to lose weight. So they're like, okay, let me focus on eating in a circadian rhythm. Let me focus on doing some workouts. I'm gonna cut back on my food, and I'm gonna do that, right? Person A has a regulated nervous system, so person A can do the fasting, right, and see those results without gaining the weight back or without having a plateau. Versus person B that does not have a regulated nervous system. They're living survival. And there's a visible difference between someone who's living in survival versus someone who's flowing with their. What do you feel like is going to happen? Your nervous system is not going to feel safe. So what it's going to do? Hold on to those calories, right? That you're eating. So it doesn't matter if you're eating 1,500 calories. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe. Your nervous system is like, okay, well, we're living in survival. We don't know when our next meal is going to be. Let's just hold on to this weight. So like, just in case, we don't know, because we're always in survival. Like, what if we don't have food tomorrow? Like, we need to hold on to this and throw this as fat. We need this. And that's the difference. That's the difference between person A and person B. So if you truly want to heal, and I gave this example just for weight loss because for the sake of the video, but if you want to actually heal your body and take a holistic approach, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you need to have a regulated nervous system. Because when you do switch up your routine and you start eating healthy and you do start eating the bitters, you may self-sabotage if you're not safe or if you feel like you're living in survival with your nervous system. Right? As soon as you start doing the bitters, what's going to happen if you're feeling like you're in survival is that you're going to self-sabotage and then feel like my body doesn't feel safe like this, so I have to go back to what is safe for me. And that's just your way of your body keeping you safe. But now you have to expand and regulate your nervous system. So one of the things that I've been learning that I'm going to share with you before I leave is that regulating your nervous system is really, really important when it comes to healing. Not even just healing the body and weight loss and whatever health issue that you have, but also with your life as well. Like, I've been learning so much about how your health affects your interactions with people. It affects your personality, how you perceive yourself, right? The emotions, how well you can handle conflict, right? Your internal dialogue. Like when someone is sick, right? Being sick is such a dense feeling, right? They're operating at these more dense frequencies and emotions. So they probably feel anger, tired, they feel sluggish. These are all dense, lower emotions. Bitterness, right? You can see the difference between someone who's very healthy and someone who is sick. They're more irritable. They're more snappy. They're living with these dense emotions. Versus someone who is healthy and healing, they're on cloud nine. They're like, right? So a telltale sign for me when I can tell that someone has underlying health issues or someone who's not at an optimal health or not kind of working towards that is their emotional state. Are they always negative? Always holding on to anger, bitterness? Are they always in chaos? And I want to leave you guys with that. So one way that you can regulate your nervous system is doing a couple of tapping exercises. You can tap at different mediums. You can tap here, right? These are all pathways that lead to your parasympathetic nervous system. You also can activate the vagus nerve, which is really important because the vagus nerve controls the gut. So you can tap here to help regulate and breathe, do the box breathing. Tap here, tap here, tap. You guys can tap with me now. Here, here, forehead, here, here. Okay, let me see what the comments. Are you guys with me? Are you with me? Okay. This is a juicy live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys have your notes taken. And let me know in the comments what hit for you. Let me know in the comments what you learned. And also let me know what you want to see next. I love you guys. Bye.